They came from the icy north, striking fear into kingdoms far and wide. Ruthless, fearless, and unstoppable. But what was their secret? How did the Vikings dominate battle after battle? Stick around, because today we're uncovering the secret battle techniques that made the Vikings one of the most feared forces in history. Before we dive into their combat tactics, here's something to consider. The Vikings didn't just fight with brute strength. Their success came from carefully planned strategies and psychological warfare. Ready to find out more? Let's go. First up, the legendary Viking shield wall, or skjaldborg. Picture this: rows of warriors locking their massive round shields together, forming an impenetrable barrier. This technique wasn't just about defense, it allowed them to move as a single unit, creating a literal wall of death that crushed their enemies. The trick? Coordination. The warriors had to trust each other completely, holding formation under pressure. One weak link and the wall could collapse. But when executed perfectly, it was unstoppable. But the shield wall was just the beginning. Up next, a tactic so brutal it left entire armies trembling. Ah yes, the berserkers. These were the Viking shock troops, warriors who fought in a trance-like fury, seemingly immune to pain. Clad in animal skins, they charged headfirst into enemy lines, creating chaos and confusion. Many believe berserkers were possessed by the spirits of wolves or bears. Modern historians think they may have used hallucinogenic herbs or rituals to induce their wild state. Whatever the cause, they were terrifying and highly effective. Imagine facing warriors who felt no fear and no pain. It's no wonder enemies often fled before the battle even began. But wait, there's more. The Vikings didn't just dominate on land, they were masters of the sea. Their longships were engineering marvels, fast and maneuverable, capable of sailing in shallow rivers and crossing open oceans. This mobility allowed them to strike quickly, often catching their enemies completely off guard. One moment, a village was quiet. The next, it was under attack. And just as fast as they appeared, they were gone, leaving behind only fire and fear. But how did they keep their edge in hand-to-hand combat? A Viking warrior's arsenal was simple but deadly. Their primary weapon? The axe. Unlike swords, axes could be made quickly and cheaply, yet they were devastating in combat. The famous Dane axe could cleave through shields and armor. Combine that with intense physical training and years of experience, and you had a warrior built for victory. But don't think it was all about axes. Vikings were also expert archers and spearmen. So, what else gave them the edge? One of the Vikings' greatest weapons was fear. Their reputation alone often won battles before a single sword was drawn. Stories of their brutality spread far and wide, making resistance seem futile. Surrender or be destroyed. Many chose the former. Why fight a battle you can't win? The Vikings understood that psychological warfare was just as important as physical combat. Great warriors need great leaders. Viking chieftains and kings like Ragnar Lothbrok and Harald Hardrada were not only fierce fighters, but brilliant strategists. They knew when to attack, when to retreat, and how to outthink their enemies. Their strategy wasn't just about brute force, it was about striking at the right time, in the right place, with overwhelming power. And it paid off. Viking influence spread across Europe, leaving a legacy that still fascinates us today. So, what made the Vikings unstoppable? It wasn't just their weapons or their ships. It was their discipline, their tactics, and their sheer will to dominate. Even today, we remember the Vikings as one of the most formidable warrior cultures in history. Want to learn more about ancient warriors and battle tactics? Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and join us on this epic journey through history.